most of the time you're going to make mistakes, right? So we're going to cover a shortcut, which is really, really useful to do your work. And then the second one, we're going to study specific value depth, foreground, middle ground, background, to do a really quick composition. So it actually works. Now, this is one way to do things. It's not the ultimate way. It's not the most correct way. This is one way. This is one way to do this value pattern that works, especially for nighttime. Okay. And especially for me, and it's actually faster for me if I do this value pattern. So if you guys have any question, just go ahead, type for Hector, and Hector will shoot it to me. Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen. Let me see. All right. So Hector, can you see my screen?
We see it perfectly. Yep.
Awesome, awesome. So again, we're gonna do black and white, just noir, right? Just black and white. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna look at all this work over here. But we're going to just start with the screen size, right? So if you're familiar with the Procreate iPad, that's what I use. By the way, you guys can actually use Photoshop, or you can actually use Clip Art Studio or Manga Studio, which is have the perspective assist, right? But Photoshop, unfortunately, we don't have perspective assist. But Procreate with iPad have perspective assist, so it's really, really useful, right? So I'm gonna just do screen size. Some people wants to do a bigger file, which is fine. For me, screen size is actually perfect because it's just going to be a quick one, right? It's not going to be like a really finished one. Okay, so we got this, right? Now, what you guys want to do now, this is a luxury thing, okay? I don't know what I'm going to do yet, right? We're just going to approach it like a fine art. By the way, the subject matter can be whatever you guys want. It can be, you can do Godzilla, you can actually do underwater city, you can actually do whatever it is, Frankenstein. The subject matter can be, it's up to you, right? Now, so because of that, I'm not going to think about the subject matter. I'm just going to set up the composition, the perspective, and then you guys decide the subject matter, and I'm going to try to do it. Okay, if we can actually do that, that would be great. If we can, I'll choose the subject matter. Now, because I don't have the subject matter yet, so I'm just going to jump to the perspective. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to that range next to the gallery at the top left, right? Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to take a picture, right? So take a picture, add. Okay, so I'm going to move my iPad over here just in case my foreground full of messiness. I don't want to show you my room. So I'm going to take a photo. There you go. All right. See, this is basically the room that I'm in. Right. So what I'm going to do now, this is great. You can actually look up if you want to. You can actually look down if you want to. You can actually look really down if you want to. It doesn't all matter. So don't think about looking up or looking down yet. Think about like what you want to show. Do you want to show the right wall more than the left wall, or you want to show the ceiling? Now, how about if I want to show the bottom? Can I just turn down like that? Yeah, that's fine. Can I make it really, really down? Look at that. That's so cool, right? So instead of thinking about subject matter right now, I'm just going to think about angle. Now, just to make it easier for you guys, rather than try to ask you what angle do you want, I'm going to just take a picture, and I'm going to take a bunch of pictures, okay? So I'm going to take this, say I'm going to do like, that's kind of cool. There's a television over there. It's slightly looking down, right? So the horizon is still actually inside. I'm going to take a picture. There you go, right? I'm going to use the photo. Now, I'm going to take a picture again, just in case, okay? Just in case we can actually have something better. Take a picture, take a photo again. I'm going to do like this time. That's cool. Like that, right? That's awesome. There you go, right? I'm going to use again. Okay. And take a picture again. Where is it? Take a photo again. But this time I want the vanishing point maybe inside. I'm going to do like this. And then like that, for example. So the middle vanishing point probably inside my composition, for example. So it looks like 1 point, but it's not 1 point whatsoever, right? So if you don't understand the stuff that I'm talking about, I'll explain it to you later on, okay? So don't worry. So you know what I'm gonna do? Maybe this, maybe, maybe like this. And a little bit up. So the middle vanishing point is still inside the composition. Okay, right? And we can actually take more picture if you want to, but right now we're just gonna start with this 3. Okay, now once you have this 3, okay, I'm gonna put numbers, okay? So by the way, now don't think about this as subject matter whatsoever. Think about it as angle, okay? So for this one, I'm gonna put number 1, right? By the way, number 1 can be right side up like this or upside down. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So we're just going to borrow the perspective. So it doesn't really matter. If you want to look down, you just have to turn it upside down, basically, right? So I'm going to see the number 2. Number 2 is this one. Look at that. This is number 2 over here. So I'm going to go to number 2, which is this one. See, if it's blurry photo, is that okay? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? This one over here. Now, can I look up at this? Yeah, look at this. Ooh. And I don't like the perspective, for example. Can I make it different? Change the angle? Yep. Flip it horizontal. Look at that. See? So basically, just take a picture, find the angle that you like, and that's it. That's about it. Okay. This is number 3 over here. All right. This is number 3. You can actually use it like this, or you can actually use it flip horizontal over here. Look at that. That's really awesome. Or I can actually flip it vertical. Look at that. Right? So don't think about it like we're looking at things upside down. No, we're looking up at things. See? So now this is up to you. So Hector, whichever the student that the first person that said anything, you want to do number 1, number 2, or number 3. This is number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3, and this is number 2. Which one?
Ooh, number 1. That was the first
number 1.
one.
That's the first one. Okay. Number 1, we're gonna do number 1. We're gonna dump everything over here. Delete, right? If you guys afraid this number 1 is not gonna be turned out to be anything, it doesn't all matter. Okay. There's nothing to do with the picture that you take. It doesn't have nothing to do with the wall. That wall that I took a picture of, there's might be no wall there. It might be something else, right? Maybe there's a hole there. It doesn't all matter. So this is upside down, and there's right side up. Which one do you guys want? Upside down or right side up?
Upside down was the first.
Upside. The first person that says upside down, we're gonna do it vertical. There you go, upside down, right? Now, all you need to do, right? You got the perspective, right? Okay, I'm gonna go edit drawing guide, right? You go to perspective, right? And then find the vanishing point. Now, this is really, really important. Now, we are looking down because it's upside down. It's supposedly we're looking up, right? But because this is upside down, we're actually looking down right now. Just a little bit. How do you find the vanishing point? See that 2 line is converging, right? Converging. There's some kind of vanishing point on the right, on the left side, basically. So the first dot that I put is going to be vanishing point. I'm going to make the line a little bit thicker there so you guys can see. And then I match it until the same as the bottom right angle. Ooh, that's a little bit too far. There you go. About there, right? So oops, it's a little bit off, just a little bit. There you go. There you go, right? No, a little bit closer. There you go. See, it's matching the bottom right. See the angle in the bottom right. Now, you don't have to put the lines to the corner. No, you just have to make it kind of going to the same vanishing point, okay? All right, Now, the other vanishing point is on the left because all of that wall in the front of us is going to be the vanishing points on the right. The left wall, the vanishing point on the right, and it's not even a line. It's not even horizontal. It actually goes up like that. So you try to make it the same as the wall. It's really hard to see. See, but you try to match it as good as possible. So the hard part is this part. As long as you understand perspective, this is gonna be easy, right? You know what to do, right? But if you don't understand perspective, you might want to see there's another workshop that I did through the academy. You might want to look at that, because that's the difference between 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point. We explained that, but in here, probably you already know what to do. What's the difference? Almost there, right? Just a little bit higher, just a little bit. Look at that. See that television? See it matching that door, that window, the top matching, just a little bit off. There you go, right? And then this is actually not 2 point perspective. Why? Because the horizon line, the camera basically, it's a little bit higher than the middle, right? The center of your picture, the horizon is a little bit higher than that, right? So that means that you're actually looking down a little bit. How do you know? See the window on the left there? There's a little bit angle, and there's the door on the right, a little bit angle. So there's a far, far away vanishing point under. Hopefully I can actually fit it. They're actually matching, almost there. Now, sometimes if you guys know Procreate, sometimes if you don't have any space, say for example like this, right? I think I have space, but if you cannot go lower, just do this, okay? Just turn it a little bit like that. See, and pull it, right? So you get a little bit more, but I don't think I need to do that. That's good.
Hey, Joko, what did you click on to create the grid lines?
How do I, how do I do that? You go to the top, like top left next to the gallery, right? There's that wrench. You click on that. And then what you want to do, edit drawing guide. So 1, 2, 3, 4. See, so you have to turn on the drawing guide first. So the drawing guide, instead of gray, you turn it on to blue. And then underneath it, edit drawing guide. There you go. And then you can actually move the vanishing point, basically. Yeah, you can actually create the vanishing point and move the vanishing point. All right, that's a good question. All right, there you go. See? Awesome. So actually, the photo that I did is actually 3 point perspective. So that's the tricky part about 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. If your vanishing point is not right smack in the middle of your picture, right, it's not 1 point perspective. The vanishing point of 1 point perspective has to be in the middle. So although this vanishing point inside your composition here, right, because it's on the left side and a little bit higher and the horizon a little bit higher, you're actually doing 3 point perspective. Okay, so that's about right. Let me check. It's a little bit off. I have to move the vanishing point a little bit to the right, a little bit, just a little bit. I'll turn it this way so I can move it. And just check this right side. Oh, too much. Go back. I think this is good. All right, done. All right, there you go. All right. Now, what you want to do, turn off the grid. Turn off the pictures, not the grid. Look at that, guys. There you go. Isn't that cool? Really, really cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the grid to black, okay? So you can actually see the composition. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the drawing assist again. I'm going to make it like black lines so you guys can actually see this grid. There you go. That's black line. Select. This is black line also. And then the last one over here, select. I'm going to make it black line also. Look at that. Look at how cool that is. See, you got this composition. You know what? The bottom one, I'm not going to make it black. It's just too dark. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do this. Select this one and make it a little bit in color or something. So it's not too dark, basically. Done. Look at that, guys. Isn't that cool? Right? So you don't really have to figure out your perspective anymore. You can just take a picture of anything and that's it, basically. Now, you can use it as is. That's it. Just like this. You can actually just use this and you're going to be fine. Right? Now, can I crop it? Yes and no. The middle of your picture has to be right smack in the middle here. Okay. So if you guys want to extend it, I want to make it like a cinema, like wide angle, for example. So I go to the wrench again, the top left next to the gallery. All right. I'm going to crop and resize. All right. Now, can I add the right side, the left side like this? Yes, if you add the same equal amount on the right side. That's it. So you don't want to add too much though, because the more you add, the more wide angle lens that you use, basically. So if you add the right side a little bit, the left side, you have to add the same amount, basically, right? So you don't want to just do it in one side, basically, okay? Because the lens not going to be able to do that, basically. Now, can I add the bottom? Yeah, I can actually add the bottom if you want to, as long as the top the same. That's it. Can I just leave it as what it was before? Yeah, that's fine too. Now, can I crop it? Yeah, you can crop it too. So if you guys want to do something, a concept art where things looks flat, like telelens, basically they just, basically they use telelens, basically. It's not wide angle whatsoever. So you can actually do something like this if you want. Can I do that? I even get rid of the vanishing point? Yeah, you can do that. As long as you do this, the same amount. If not, your lens not going to be able to do it. All right. It's not going to be true, basically. So this time I'm going to add the left and I'm going to add equal amount on the right. And I'm going to keep the top and the bottom. That's kind of cool. Just like a flat like that, you know, like a, yeah, like theater, wide angle. Okay, done. Look at that. And that's the good thing about Procreate. See, the perspective is still true. It's just a wider angle. See how cool that is? And by the way, guys, I know that you want to look down, right? You turn it upside down. By the way, if you want to change your mind, look at this. You just flip it vertical. You look up now. See, if you flip it vertical. And just a little bit delayed here. There you go. See, it's really, really cool. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it looking down. All right. There you go. Now, the next thing you guys do, now, do the borders, just to make it easier. All right. Use rectangle. So basically, border is actually a new layers, basically, on top of everything. Make sure it's black. All right. And then rectangle. There you go. Just select everything but the borders. See, just select the inside, right? And invert the selection and dump, see, black over there. That's it. Okay, there you go. You got nice screen, nice perspective. The perspective is already correct. You just have to figure out what you want to do now, right? And which is kind of luxury, right? Most of the time we get an assignment or script that we have to do instead of we can actually come up with anything that we want, basically, right? But just for this assignment, we're not going to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do, add another layer, put it underneath the border, put it underneath this guy over here, right? Put gray. Now, how come I don't start with white? Boom, like that, right? Now, how come I don't start with white? It's just harder to start with white. We're just trying to make our life easier, right? That would be great if you guys actually can paint from white paper, draw from white paper, white canvas. That's really, really great because it's harder, right? but gray is easier, is faster. It's almost like a tone paper if you're doing traditional medium. There you go. You got this one, right? So see, so far you guys have, that's the reference on the top. See, we're just borrowing the picture, the perspective, and that's it. We're not going to use the perspective. See, now in your head, you can actually see what kind of composition that you come up with this kind of perspective, right? Okay, and then there's borders, and then there's that gray for the background. How come I just make layer 3 the background instead of the background color the background? I just like to do it like that because I can copy and paste that gray. You'll see later. All right, now what you guys want to do, you just have to figure out what you want to do. Even before you figure out what you want to do, I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit lecture about the value first, and then we're going to start this stuff. All right, so I'm going to go to value over here. There you go. So I'm going to go to the top over here. So if you can actually keep it as 3 to 4 value group, I'm not talking about 3 or 4 value, okay? 3 to 4 value groups. 3 is actually enough. The group of dark, now remember, the group of dark, there's dark gray, right? There is black. It's just there's range of that, but this is the group of dark. Group of gray. Now, the group of gray can be high key, it can be like light gray, it can be dark gray, it can be middle gray, but group of gray, right? And group of light, including light gray, right? So white, light gray. Now, if you can actually separate the depth in those brackets, that would be great. That would be easier. So the problem with environment painting, concept painting, you begin to render each and individual component in your painting. So everything becomes too spotty and you can't see which one is actually in front of which one, right? So what you want to do, just keep it simple, group of dark, group of gray, group of light, right? Now, most of the time, you guys do something like this. Most of the time, you go something like this, where, there you go. Daytime, most of the time. Foreground is dark, midground gray group, and background light group, most of the time. See the thumbnails, right? There is a frame in the foreground, and there's the middle ground is whatever that you're framing in the foreground, which is the focal point, which is gray, which is in the middle ground, right? And the background is just the group of light or just white, basically, right? Now, most of the time you guys doing this, right? And this is really, really good. Now we're gonna flip it, okay? We're gonna do something kind of opposite in a certain way, except the foreground. The foreground's still gonna be black, group of dark, right? But we're gonna switch the middle ground and background. So what we're gonna do this. We're gonna do kind of nighttime, right? You can actually use it for daytime. You can actually use it for nighttime. By the way, this is one way to do things, right? It's not true for everything, but this is the fastest way, especially for noir for nighttime. For foreground, dark group, midground, right, is the light group, okay? And the background is the gray group, okay? So now the foreground, can I put white in the foreground? Yeah, it has to be really, really tiny, so it's not getting mixed up with the middle ground. And the middle ground is gonna be the focal point still, but this time the focal point is light, okay? So we're just gonna flip it like this, okay? So now later on, I'm gonna show you sample of this one too, the stuff that you always do, right? But we're going to do this, which is way easier than if you put the middle ground to be gray instead of white group. Okay, so, and oh, by the way, the focal point, I just put it in the middle ground. So the focal point, basically the light one, okay? All right, now can you put the focal point in the foreground? Yeah, but your composition is just gonna stuck basically, because foreground, the best way to do foreground is actually to frame things, okay? All right, okay, so I'm gonna go to whatever that we did before, whatever that we set up before, right? I still kind of don't know what I'm gonna do actually. So, yeah, so how about this? Okay, I'm gonna show you. And bunch of Pinterest stuff over here that I collected. So you can actually do a Chinese city if you want. We can actually do a regular city if you want, right? Maybe Godzilla in the city if you want. We can actually do medieval if you want. We can actually go Gothic if you want. As long as you have Japanese if you want, right? Maybe a combination. Maybe there's that Godzilla. If there's somebody can type something, you can actually do that. But make sure the subject matter has to be most of them is not it's not going to be organic. Okay, make sure that most of them, because it's perspective, 60% still has to be structured. So what do you guys want to do? Hopefully that I have the references over here. So there's a Japanese city, Godzilla. There's Chinese city, maybe dragon. There's medieval too, if you want. You want city? I'll do city. Hector, are you there?
Yeah, I was reading stuff. I got Noir cityscape, medieval Godzilla, Japanese city.
Okay.
On a mountain with the dragon, Japan, medieval.
All right, how about this? The first one, Noir cityscape and Godzilla, right? And Japan. That's like a major Japanese theme there. So, okay, we're gonna do Noir, Japanese, Godzilla. There you go, okay? That's it. Noir, Japanese, Godzilla. And we'll see what kind of abomination we can actually create, right? Okay. Okay, so what you guys want to do, before you even look at your references, you want to be surrounded by references later on, right? But just think about the composition, right? Think about where they want to put the focal point. Now, most of the time, I'm going to do this. I'm going to just add another one over here. I'm going to turn off that grid, okay? So you don't, you know what? I'm going to turn it on. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to put ink, maybe. Yep, ink. And I'm going to do like a divided by third. You know what? I'm going to have to turn it off, actually. There you go. I'm going to divide it by 3. Let me see. And that's not even 3. That's not even equally 3. So what I do, I'm just going to squeeze it until whatever those boxes is kind of equal. There you go. Basically, this is the rule of third. Close enough to the golden section, but it's not, but it's close enough. So we're going to use a third. There you go. All right. So now your focal point is going to be either, I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to do another one over here. Your focal point is either going to be on this part or this part. See? Or this part or this part. All right. So top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Now try not to put the focal point outside that, to the outside box. Try not to put the focal point right over here. Right. So if you think about it as a third, it's a little bit delayed. See, try not to do this. Okay. So if you think about it as a third, try not to put it. It's not a pizza. Just don't think about focal point like a pizza, like a cut. So the whole thing over here, when your teacher say a third, that's not focal point. Is try to think about it like shooting, like crosshair. All right. There you go. That's it. Now, the bigger the focal point, you might want to push it to the middle a little bit. Why? Because if you don't put it to the middle, this is what happened. See, it's getting get cropped. When it getting get cropped, it's not focal point anymore. See, it's almost like your focal point is this one. See, that's just to balance it basically, right? So there you go. See, so the focal point either going to be on the top right, top left, bottom right, kind of in that corner of that middle box, right? Okay, so knowing that, I'm gonna kind of turn this off a little bit so I know the placement, right? Oops, where is it? There you go. I know the placement. I'm gonna turn off on the grid. All right. So what I'm gonna do, okay. Now, I completely forgot what we're doing. Is it Godzilla? Yeah, I'm gonna write it down. If not, I'm gonna forget. This one is Godzilla. Godzilla. Tokyo. It's gonna be night. Noir. So it's completely black and white, right? It's just gonna be like really, really contrast. Okay. So all right. So now look at this. Your vanishing point, one of them is inside. That's really, really cool, right? So anything that right there in that vanishing point is going to be so strong, right? So if I turn on the drawing assist, right over here, this is my horizon line. This is my vanishing point right there, right? The other vanishing point is going to be so far, that one of them is inside, right? So you can actually put Godzilla, if you want to make it like to the point, that's your focal point. You can actually put Godzilla right there, right? It's close to the top left if you want. There you go, a little bit inside maybe if you want to, or you can actually put it on the right side. It doesn't all matter, right? Now, all you need to do now is frame your focal point, but we don't know where do you want to put the focal point yet. All right, okay, so I'm going to turn this off. Let me see, I'm going to get a new layers over here underneath this. All right, okay, so what do you guys want to do? You want to put Godzilla on the top right, on the top left? Where do you want to put it?
Top left, that was the first one.
That's good. Okay, so top right is good too. It doesn't really matter really. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do this. Don't put white yet. You can start with the focal point, or you can start with the framing of the focal point. All right. Now, if you know where the focal point is gonna be, it's gonna be in the top left, right? The top left there. All you need to do, frame the top left. Okay. So I'm gonna start with the framing first. So underneath the border, on top the gray, I create a new layer. And that new layer, I'm going to turn on the drawing assist. Okay. And use dark, but not black yet. Just dark, really, really dark gray. All right. And change my brush to painting. There, thick brush, right? Don't draw it yet, just use value, okay? And then what you want to do, don't do it this big, you shrink it down. So the focal point is going to be on the right side of that vanishing point, that red. I frame that red, all right? So look at this, because I turn on the drawing assist. Look at this, look at that. What is this? It's just a frame. Maybe this is a sign, I don't know. There you go, big brush. Maybe there's another one over here like that. And then maybe, oh, you know what? I'm going to do this. See, because the drawing assist is on, look at that. I just have something here.
Hey, Joko,
What's
a
up?
quick question. On the toolbar that we see on the left side of the screen, there's we don't see very much of it. Just it. Is there any way to drag it over so we can see what that toolbar is?
On the left side of the screen.
Yeah, yeah. If not, it's okay. I just thought maybe in the picture we might have been missing something.
Got it. So this toolbar over here, the one that I opened, this one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I well, the thing is,
no,
if I'm,
it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just carry on.
Got it. Yeah, if I move it, the layers goes to the other side. So yeah, okay. So there you go. So all you need to do is just create a frame. So I just created a frame for whatever that Godzilla is going to be right there, right? Now, how come I make it this small, right? Because if I make it bigger, I begin to do a little things, a little design that I'm not supposed to do. Even if I do the eraser, I use a brush eraser, so it's actually big. So you can actually erase big. Look at that. Look at that. So basically, this is not focal point, okay? This is the framing of the focal point. I know the focal point is going to be next to the vanishing point, right? Like that. Look at that. I can, you know what? I'm going to put like a person later on right over here. That's going to be a person like that, right? And then what do? You go underneath it. So whatever you do, the foreground is the top, the higher layer, right? The middle ground is going to be underneath that. The background is going to be underneath that, right? So you go plus underneath the foreground. You make another layer underneath it. On layer number 8, turn the drawing assist on, all right? Like that. And then I'm going to put the middle ground, which is Godzilla, right? the middle ground, the focal point, which is Godzilla. Now the Godzilla can be facing us, can be facing side. You know what? I'm gonna make it facing. We'll can decide that later on. But the value, remember, this is middle, right? I'll select middle. You're gonna make it lighter than middle, but not white. There you go. Right. Now you can directly draw Godzilla if you want to. Right, you can actually do it with Lasso. I'm gonna use Lasso over here, or just painting. But Godzilla is gonna be like maybe side view, like I don't know, like shooting up, for example, like this, like this, like this, like that, like that, for example. And you cannot see the foot over here. Now I need a reference of Godzilla. I have no idea how Godzilla looks, but there you go. All right, and I fill it up with. There you go. That's it. I'm gonna turn off that. There you go. Now, whatever Godzilla, what you guys want to do, you want to connect Godzilla with the stuff around Godzilla in the same depth towards us. So here, okay, so you turn on the drawing assist, right? And then all you need to do, put the CD next to Godzilla. See, look at that. The drawing assist still on. That's it. See, the good thing about drawing assist is like that, you can actually just see how fast it is? Huh. There you go. That's it. See, now whatever you guys do, okay, don't zoom in. If you're zooming in, your tendency to, oh my God, that Godzilla doesn't look good, right? No, just be patient, just go further like that and you'll be fine, right? And then what do you do, right? That's it. All you need to do. Now you got the foreground, which is on the top. You get the middle ground, which is the focal point. Right. Now we can go to the background, or you can actually do another layer between the foreground and the middle ground. Right. So you go between them. I'm gonna do in between. Okay. I'm gonna turn on the drawing assist again. See, still small, right? So okay. In between that one and that one, I'm gonna make maybe a little bit light, a little bit darker than this. I select this, just a little bit darker than that. Drawing assist still on. Bigger brush. Look at that. And then you know what? I'm gonna make it taller building. Can I do that? Yeah, it's your Godzilla. You can do whatever you want. It's your Tokyo. You know, you can do whatever you want. Look at that. Maybe this is really close over here. And you know what? I'm going to make it really, really nighttime. You go to the last layer. I'm going to curve this last layer. Okay. Go back to this. Look at that, guys. Whatever you do, don't zoom in. If you zoom in, you want to repair stuff. No, don't zoom in. Don't zoom in, right? Just as long as your composition is good, you're good. All you need to do is actually design after you got the whole value. See? Now, goes to the back. Remember, the value pattern is dark in the front, focal point light, and then gray in the back, right? But because it's nighttime, I'm going to make it getting darker, like night, darker gray, basically. But the value pattern we already got, dark in the front, light in the middle, and then dark again or gray again in the background. So this time, I'm going to get the same way because it's getting further from Godzilla, right? I'm going to go underneath Godzilla, put another layer, drawing assist. All right. And then look at that. Getting further, getting deeper, getting darker. That's it. Look at that. Oh, by the way, if you think that, oh, this Godzilla is too small, can I make it bigger? Yeah, it's the same composition. So you're good. You're still okay. You're still good. So don't worry. Look at that. See? And how many layers you want to do? As many as you want. It doesn't all matter. You know, I want to do like a really closer one more layer in between this one and this one. Drawing assist over here. I go over here and go make it a little bit darker and then bigger over here. Look at that, guys. Can I do that? Yeah, no matter. This one, I'm gonna make it like that, for example. And you can actually do this with the eraser. See, this is the good thing about either Clip Art Studio or Manga Studio or Procreate is this. You can actually erase with your drawing assist. See how fast it is? I got it. There you go. Now, say for example, after all of this, now it's still not done, right? It's still not good. And right now, all we need to do is actually look at references, look at design, and we repair it. Size of that Godzilla, we can actually still change it as long as it's not moving Godzilla too much to the left or to the right. You're good, right? But you can still do this. Say, for example, I don't like this, right? I don't really like this. I want to completely change my mind. I'm going to do this. I'm going to flip it vertical. Can I do that? There, right? So I'm going to do this, okay? I'm going to take this. I'm going to go to gallery. I'm going to just duplicate this. It's still the same composition, but it's actually like that now. Now, it can be anything, but now we're looking up, right? The focal point is still the same place, right? But then I'm going to take out, turn this off so it's actually easy to see. The frame is still the same frame, right? But the rest of them, it doesn't look correct, right? But I'm going to turn off some stuff. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to turn this off over here. I'm going to turn this off. I still have that. Top right, still the focal point, but this time, because you're looking up, take this eraser. Oops, cancel. Take this eraser, erase this one. All right. I'm gonna turn this on. All right. Take that focal point and I'll flip it over. Look at that. See? You can't go wrong because the perspective is already there. You're good. But remember, under the blue line or under the red line over there, that's the horizon red line, right? So the city's here now. You're slightly looking up. So you're looking up from some kind of window, some kind of warehouse or something. Look at that. See? And again, even for me, it's really hard not to zoom in. I cannot zoom in because once I zoom in, I want to do stuff that I'm not supposed to, like detail and so on and so forth. Maybe there you go. I don't know, like that, for example. I got to look at references of Godzilla, right? And then how do you do the rest, right? It's the same thing. You turn on this foreground over here, but instead of on the top, right? You're going to do it on the bottom. So this one, you go over here, goes over here, and then turn on the drawing assist. There you go. Look at that. And then erase the top maybe. So you're looking at it from the window. You know what? I'm going to put that window, the base of that window, like this. Ooh, look at that. Some kind of apartment looking at Godzilla just passing by. See, you don't know what you like anymore, right? It can be this Godzilla, it can be looking down Godzilla. It doesn't matter. And you're gonna choose. It's up to you. But right now I'm gonna do one more layer, which is in the background. This is in the back over here. Let me see. Yeah, that's in the that's in the middle ground. This is in the background. There you go. Goes over here and brush. And then use eraser as a brush. Use there you go. And then there's a bunch of buildings in the back there. That's too tall, that building too tall. There you go. So, okay. So which composition do you like? This is looking up, right? I'm gonna turn this off. This is looking up, all right? Or do you want it looking down? So I'm gonna do both of them over here. I'm gonna turn this one right side up first. There you go. And I'm gonna show it to you, okay? So, okay, which one do you want? You want to looking up at Godzilla in the city, or you want to looking down Godzilla in the city? It's up to you.
Down was the first one.
Down was the first one. Okay, so down it is. So there you go. There you go, right? Okay, that's it. That's how you start. And we'll go to the design after this, right? Now, the hardest part is actually, once you get the composition, once you get the value depth like this, the hardest part is actually design. Design is really, really hard. Yeah, sometimes you get a nice composition, but then you have to fill it up with something, a good design. That's hard. So don't worry, that's gonna be time, right? You're gonna get better, so on and so forth. So, and I have to look at references of Godzilla. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger over here. Maybe I'm thinking that he's like shooting his mouth up, so his you know, his beam gonna go up or something. So what I'm gonna do, go to Pinterest, over on the left over there, and then Godzilla. Godzilla, Gojira. How about side view? Actually, the best reference is actually toy action figure. Yeah. Look at that guy. Oh, look at that guy. Oh, the color is too much, but that's actually a nice pose. Now, even the pose, you cannot copy the pose. You basically look at it and then you try to do your own perspective if you can. Wow, you got tinier heads. So my head is just way too small. Okay, so profile, how about that? There you go. Look at that baby. Oh, look at this. That's pretty cool. But anything that I can actually zoom in. Now, the best kind of reference actually silhouette references, really, that you can actually see. Oh, look at that guy. All right. There you go. Okay. Look at how bad my drawing, right? See, that's the one that hinders you basically. Most of the time it's design. Although doesn't matter how good the design is, your value is out of whack, it's not good either. But design is so hard to do. So come on, what happened? It was like that big. So right now, get the eraser. Trying this off. And his head is pretty tiny. There you go. Maybe inking. So the easiest to design things, try not to do outline. So what you want to do, try to do it small. So if you can actually do a silhouette of something, you're good, all right? So that's the way you do design. Silhouette design is really, really important. Come on. There you go. Okay. So this one, oh, the head is way smaller than that. See, if you see it as a silhouette, it can be dark silhouette, it can be light silhouette, basically, right? This one is actually a light silhouette. It's a little bit easier. Painting. Oh, this is gonna be bigger. Now, how come I don't do outline, right? How come I don't do outline first? Because if I do outline first, although this is digital, you can actually shrink it down and blow it up later on. If I do outline though, our tendency to get bigger and bigger, that Godzilla is going to be humongous at the end. Why? Because our tendency to draw big when we want to draw detail. So remember when you guys trying to do a figure drawing at the first time doing figure drawing is the same thing. The feature, because eyes, nose, so on and so forth, you concentrate too much on those, the head getting too big, basically. So the problem with the first time you're drawing figure drawing is you're drawing a humongous heads, right? It's the same thing. So if you draw line drawing, here I can actually control the size. See, that's why I don't zoom in, right? If I zoom in, I want to do the detail. Just this silhouette. Look at that. That's it. All right. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to the lighting before the design of the environment, right? Now I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make the light coming from the floor, from the city, right? Later on, I might do the light coming from him too, from the mouth, from the body. But I want to make the light come from below, basically. Now remember, we haven't used white yet, right? So if I go over here, see, that's the gray. Now I'm gonna use white. All right. So what you want to do, you add another layer on top of his layer, on top of this layer over here. I'm gonna add another layer, and I use clipping mask. All right. And then what you want to do, because the light coming from the floor, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. There you go. Like that. And then this, the tail, for example. And then this is the light coming from the city. Look at that. See? And you can actually even do it like this. Like on fire or something, the city. Look at that. Now remember, it's concept art anyway, right? You don't want to start doing little windows yet before the silhouette of window is actually good. The light coming, remember the light coming from below, so just think about like a form, right? Underneath Godzilla light, right? See? Now, this is really important. The shadow of Godzilla is not going to be darker than the background. So remember the valley that we see before? So the problem with people when they do depth is this. They put the shadow of the light part, the light source, too dark. So Godzilla coming forward. So you don't want to make Godzilla contrast whatsoever. If you make him contrast or her contrast, it's just going to come forward. All right. So you want to keep it in the middle ground. So hence this one over here, the theory at the beginning. Remember this. There's a group of black, group of gray, group of light. So it doesn't matter how much, how dark the shadow of the background there on the light, right? You don't want to make it black, because if you make it black, it's coming forward. So the shadow of that focal point, the white stuff, right? The shadow of that white stuff cannot be darker than the sky behind it or the wall behind it. That's it. Okay. So look at that. See, if it's big, you begin to like, that doesn't look good. No, just keep it small. Don't worry about it. That's it. Then what do? References again. And don't worry about the window. Okay, I'm going to do the window and stuff like that. But see how fast that is? Let me see. What time is it? Okay. See how fast that is? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this. Any question while I'm doing this? Because I'll keep on talking here. It's up to you.
You know, we had a lot of questions that were technical, and I just didn't want to throw you off because you had you were making a lot of progress and it was coming along there. So students, you guys want to maybe throw in some of your questions now, and we can go ahead and I can hand a couple over.
One or two technical questions is fine. Don't worry about it, because we're ahead. I'm not probably not going to be able to finish anything, but we're ahead. If there is a technical question that I can actually go with, because I still have to do a lecture after this, how to, yeah, don't worry.
All right. So what brushes and pens are you using?
Oh, I use the iPad pencil. And the brush that I use is just, if it's in the Procreate, it's just Nico rule. I love Nico rule. And even with eraser, I just use Nico rule. It's just chalky, basically. Look at that. See? It's chalky. Yeah. So try not to do, especially in this stage, try not to do like a fancy brush first. It almost doesn't matter. Brush, you can actually use round brush. It's still gonna work. Yeah. What else? So I'm gonna look at the city. Look at this, okay? Now look at the right side, which is Godzilla and city and Tokyo, right? Now look at the left side over here. Look at these references. Right? It's the same, right? All you need to do is just those windows, but the value is the same. Our foreground is going to be closer though, right? But then everything else, light bounds, right? So those lights in the background, it creates one big value. All you need to do making those windows. So the question is, how the heck are you going to do that window, right? So before you do the window, the design of the buildings has to be believable first, right? But the lighting is the same. All you need to do is just do the windows, and I'll show you how to do windows. So I'm going to go to Japan. See, basically I'm doing something like this without the color, without the street, which is actually easier. Street is a little bit harder. And nighttime. See, the light coming from the street. Oh, look at that. See, forget about the color. If you really squint, there's a silhouette in the foreground, the bottom left, right? The sign, right? But then goes to the back there, the light jumble, right? So, and then see, the sky is going to go to the dark again. See, nighttime is actually easier than you think, because it's not going to the light whatsoever. It's actually getting to the dark again. So look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. See? So the question is, how the heck are you going to do it, right? Okay. So I'm going to do... so when you paint, you want to put the references as many as possible around you if you can, next to you if you can, what kind of city, so it's believable. I'm just going to do like Neo Tokyo or something. So some building is actually traditional, but some building is actually like New York, Neo Tokyo, New York and Tokyo. Okay, so all right, so let me see Tokyo over here, or Japan. See, because you already have the composition. All we need to do is design. Design is the hardest that you ever going to do. And it's not gonna ever, you're not gonna be comfortable with it ever. So you always looks for references. So it's believable. Oh. Ooh, I want some of the building like this maybe. Ooh, see? Fancy. Okay, we'll do it. But remember, the light came from the window. Okay. All right. See, there's a lot of references and there's a advertisement, right? Okay. All right. So what do? Try not to zoom in. So choose the layer that you want. I want to do the layer of Godzilla. All right. I want to do the layer of Godzilla, which is this layer over here. All right. I go to there. All right. I select that value. Right. Now I can actually go a little bit thinner, which is inking. The brush, I just change it to inking. So some of the building have, look at that. Oops, turn on the drawing assist, sorry. There you go. Some of the building have some kind of antenna or something. Look at that. How do I know this? I don't, okay. I just look at the references before. I remember the building have this thing. Maybe, you know what? I'm gonna do like some kind of tower over here. See? Lost and found is good, okay? So you don't have to, look at that. That looks like a building. So think about building like a silhouette design. Now, some building have some kind of traditional, maybe. So I'm gonna do like something like, I don't know. I'm gonna turn this because the drawing assist is off now. I turn this, I kind of follow the blue, and then I just do like some building like this, for example. Now, do you have to make the whole building? No. You just have to There you go. Huh. That's it. Ooh, see, there's some kind of traditional Japanese building, like some kind of pagoda-like right over there or something. Oh, now do you do more? Nope, that's it, right? Because you don't want to do the detail of the window once everything else is still rough, right? So, okay, you go to different layers. You go to this layers over here, which is this one. You know what? I'm gonna do the background layer. This one over here, really, really far. So the building is really, really skinny. Erase. Look at that. Really, really far. I just use eraser. See? Far, 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 far. There you go. Sometimes if the whole building is traditional, I just use Lasso and start Lasso and just delete. It's just way faster. That's not very good. There you go. Maybe like that, for example. Look at that, guys. See? Further, further. I don't want to see below the horizon. So there you go. See stuff like higher. There. Middle ground over there, and then the middle ground, foreground. So in front of Godzilla. So find that layer, which is this one over here. Now I can do the temple a little bit more pronounced, maybe. Yeah. So take this, turn off the drawing assist, look at references. Ooh, that's pretty cool. See, even for the references, I don't zoom in. I just see the silhouette of the references, right? And you have the opportunity to zoom in later on, right? But right now, it's just like, okay, that temple looks like this. Oh, look at that. There. There you go. I got one. Oh, that doesn't look good, right? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Don't worry. Don't worry. The thing is, if you fuss around too much right now, it's not gonna look good. It's overall, right? As long as you get a nice composition, don't worry about it. This one, this one maybe like this. Take this one higher over here. Something over here, and then it's taller over here. Oh, and this one, I'm gonna make it really tall, really, really cool building over here. Designs like this, and there's some kind of dragon in the corner over here. Look at that. Do you make the eyes of the dragon? No, that is just like a kind of like a silhouette. Silhouette design is really important. There you go. There. Traditional. Oh, that bottom it doesn't look good, huh? This one. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of this. It doesn't look good. So see, our job is to frame the focal point, which is Godzilla right now. See there. Oh, by the way, guys, some people, especially for people that are doing Photoshop, you collect this silhouette design. So once you get one silhouette design, you collect them. Like usually you do it flat, no perspective whatsoever. And in Photoshop, you just distort it and put it in the angle that you want, basically. See? So if you guys wondering how do you people doing this with Photoshop, well, yeah, before drawing assist, we use Photoshop, right? And then silhouette design is the same thing, it's still important. Look at that. See, we're just creating a frame. And then this is like a really tall one over here. It goes this way. Really tall building over there. Look at that. See? There you go. So I should maybe do another layers between Godzilla and that middle ground. But I'm not going to do it. This is fine. There you go. See? Okay, so we got that. And then this one. I'm going to turn off the drawing assist. See, remember, I don't zoom in. Whatever you guys do, don't zoom in. if you zoom in, ooh, that's nice. If you zoom in, you're going to like it's going to discourage you. Your drawing is going to discourage you. You're going to think that, oh, this is not good enough, right? Don't worry about it. Just continue. Just don't zoom in. Don't worry about it. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put a person of, no, this is really big. Yeah, really, really big. There you go. There you go. And then there's something over here. Should I put another dragon? Maybe a fish right over here. Right there's a fish, like a koi fish or something. Okay, and then this one over here. I don't want to compete with Godzilla, so hopefully that's not competing. You know, maybe bigger brush, painting. Using inking before, should use just painting. There you go. So bigger brush over here. Something over here. Look at that, guys. There. Just think about it as a silhouette design and you'll be fine. All right. Trust me, if you zoom in, it doesn't look good. Okay. If you zoom in, it's like, oh my God, what a mess, right? That's not the point. You just have to go through, follow through, right? Just pass to the next step, basically. Little by little, you zoom in, just little by little. Right now, we haven't zoomed in yet. Go to foreground. Look at that. There's sign. If you want to keep the sign, you can. And erase this like that, but like this. But I want to make it like traditional look too. There's sign, the advertisement, but it's traditional. I don't know. Maybe it's kind of semi. I don't know. That would be cool if it's maybe sign. Yeah, so I'm gonna put sign, okay? This kind of sign, but it's off because it's gonna be dark, right? There you go. I'm gonna put it right over here. There you go. Goes like that, for example. Goes like that. So there's that traditional, and there's the Tokyo light. And then, although this is close to a third, right? And the bottom left close to the third, because it's in the foreground, and the foreground is pretty big. And this person over here, maybe there's a headset over here, because this person over here combined with the foreground, basically, right? This is not focal point, right? So what kind of Japanese, I'm gonna do like a geisha over here. They like that with a like something on that here, like that. That's it. Or you know what, Lasso, maybe Lasso is better. So there you go. Like that, and then like that, and brush. Big giant brush. Oops. Yes. There you go. And because he's so close to the sign, this is not a focal point. See, he's becoming the foreground. Right? He becomes the frame, basically. The focal point is still going to be Godzilla. All right. Okay. So, what time is it? Let me see. We finish up. Oh, we're good. Okay. So I'm gonna just to take a break. I'm gonna do this. Okay? I'm gonna lecture. What do you? This is the same step, right? As what I did before. I'm gonna show you the different samples, and we'll go back to the windows because you guys want to see how do you put the detail, and that's really really important. I'm gonna go to gallery. All right. Okay.
Question, someone asked, what is the benefit of doing lasso as opposed to drawing something?
Oh, Lasso, I love Lasso because Lasso you can do things that really, really crisp. So most of the time I did it by hand, right? I did it by paint. But if you can do Lasso, you can do stuff that really, really quick here, okay? I just don't want to do it Lasso first because it's going to, people gonna think that how the heck is that gonna happen? You know, it's just hard to follow. But I'm gonna show you one layer using Lasso. I'm gonna just do one more depth, okay? Lasso is gonna be so fast as long as you turn on the drawing guide up here. So you can see the drawing guide, but you turn it off. So you don't use the drawing guide at all. You see it, okay? So what I'm gonna do, that's a good question. I love Lasso. If you guys can use Lasso instead, please do Lasso instead. It's just hard to see, okay? I'm gonna add another one. So basically I'm making another layer between Godzilla and this layer. I just make another layers basically. Now, but before that, I'm gonna make this one a little bit darker. A little bit darker. There you go. And then behind that, I can use a little bit lighter value like this, but a little bit darker. There you go. Okay. Now, the good thing about Lasso is this. Here, I'm gonna look at I'm gonna try to remember the reference that I did. Okay. But see, can you see my lasso on the left there? See? Look at that. I just draw really, really quick traditional Japanese city. Now, whatever you guys do, don't separate from one building to another. Just connect them. From one building to another, just connect them. But I'm just using lasso. I even put a gate there. You guys see that?
Yeah, I can see. We can see the gate.
You can see it? Okay, there you go. And then that, see how fast that is? Crazy fast. So once you got that brush, we go giant brush and boom, look at that. Look at how easy the stuff that I did before, right, is so slow compared to this. Now, oh, it's a little bit too dark. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna adjust the value and turn this off. So that's a really good question. If you guys can use Lasso, please use Lasso. It's just way crazy fast. See, that's it. So imagine if I do Lasso over here, I just finished this in 5 minutes instead of like, I don't know how long that I did all of this stuff, right? So whoever that asked that, use Lasso. If you can use Lasso, use Lasso. All right, so there you go. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to gallery. So this samples, I'm gonna start from the beginning. This is the same thing, okay? I'm gonna make this one bigger. There, same thing. Inside or outside is the same thing. Dark in the front, all right? The focal point is gonna be light, and then it's going to darker again to the back. It's not necessarily black, but it's gonna go back to the gray. So the white is the middle ground. So, and once in a while, we're gonna see that the dark is actually the focal point instead of the light is the focal point. So, but this is way easier if you do it like this. Look at that. Way fast, way easier, right? See, it's the same thing. So the shadow of that creature, whatever that creature, is not going to be darker in the background. If you make it darker in the background, that creature coming forward too much, right? So that's value depth. You want to keep like the value group in a certain distance, right? Same thing. Japanese, really, really quick, right? That's it. That's it. And we can actually finish it if we want to, but that's about it. Focal point is whatever that gate, right? The shadow of that gate is not going to be darker than the background. So the shadow of that gate, look at that shadow, right? It's still lighter than the background. So the whole gate is light, but the light part of that gate is white, basically. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing, right? So dark in the foreground, middle goes to the light, and dark again in the background. But you can actually have, yeah, there's a little bit light here and there, but it's so tiny, right? So it's not important. Same thing, right? So same thing with this. So focal point is light is way faster, way easier than focal point gray. Same thing, right? And if you think about it, and we go back to this, let me see if I'm not mistaken over here. Some of this is actually the same thumbnails, not the same thumbnails, the same photos. I'm gonna go over here. All right, it's sci-fi, right? So actually, I'm gonna show you all of them at the same time. Here, this
hey, Joko.
Yeah, what's up?
A couple students asked about what software are students using in your classes, or are they allowed to use in your classes?
Oh, they can use any kind of software except 3D in Foundation, but even 3D, if you use the 3D software for the figure, you can use that. So you can use Procreate, you can use Photoshop, you can use Clip Art Studio. The class to make your life easier, not harder. Although we're trying to teach you how to do stuff, it should be to make your life easier, not harder. So, but you still cannot use 3D like Google SketchUp or Maya for perspective class. You can't do that. I mean, you have to learn how to do it first before you go to that class. So this one and this one, right? This is actually the same picture. This is looking up and this is looking down at the same picture. I just changed the subject matter. And this is the same picture too. This one, the last one. There you go. It's the same picture. I just moved the focal point, right? We're going to look at it, right? So this one, the picture is this. So we talked about this before. There you go. I just took a picture of something, right? In LA, some kind of hotel. That's my wife. Took a picture, right? But then the end result is there. You're looking up at it, right? Now compare that to this. See? So what picture is this? This is the same picture upside down. See, guys, the same picture upside down. So even if you have no access to looking down, if you go to a building that you cannot go up there and looking down, you don't have to. Just go to a building that high ceiling, just turn your camera up and take a picture and just turn your picture upside down, and that's it. That's the same thing, right? So actually, the way that I did both of them, if I play this, right? See? I'm making this first. I'm making this one first, right? Now, the other one, I'm going to play this. That's the same thing. I'm making that gray first, like a tomb first, right? And then I just, once I did the tombs, like, I changed my mind. I turned upside down. See? So the perspective is already correct. So you can actually use that for anything. Can you turn it on the side? Yeah, you can actually turn it to make it horizontal if you want. If you want to do it like this, that's fine too. See? All right. Fast forward this. See? And then this one is the same thing too. But all of this, the focal point is basically like, now I begin to do the focal point shadow right over here. So I'm gonna go over here. See, the shadow of that dragon, right? The focal point is still light. The shadow of that dragon is now gonna be darker in the background. Why? Because if you make the shadow of that dragon too dark, it's gonna come forward. See, so once you know how to do that, by the way, this is a specific look of if you take a picture of this, it's not going to be like that. If you take a picture of this, the shadow of that dragon is going to be dark, right? But if you make it dark, it's not going to work. It just wants to come forward, right? See the shadow of that spaceship is not going to be darker in the background. Same thing with this. There you go. All right. Now, for her, I begin to do experiments, right? Okay. Now, in order to do foreground dark, middle ground gray, background light, see, I begin to do this over here, right? So foreground is dark, the middle ground, which is her, is gray, and the interior is gray, and the background light. You have to do things really subtle. You cannot make her too dark. If you make her too dark, she's going to come forward. So it's harder, right? So to do this is easier. Where the focal point is the light part is way easier where compared to when the object is the shadow part. This one, see, it's the same thing. Focal point is the whole door there, the whole thing that big, right? See the focal point, the spaceship is lighter. It's easier, right? The shadow of that god is actually still lighter than the background. See, basically, see, I just stopped. I mean, can I continue painting this? Yeah, I just like the Godzilla. If I continue it, it's great. If I stop, it's great. It doesn't matter, right? Let me see. Let me see. There you go, right? Dark in the front, light in the middle, which is the focal point, and getting dark again to the back. It's just way easier. See, dark in the front, light in the middle, and going dark again in the back, which is gray, dark gray. Right. So is there any light in the background? Yeah, but it's just going to be so thin, it's so dim that it's not going to be competing with the focal point. Right. So again, guys, the focal point doesn't have to be contrast all the time, right? Because if you make the it doesn't have to be like black and white all the time to make it that contrast. Because if I make her black and white, she's going to be on the table in the front, right? So it's not going to work. There you go, Batman. See, this one, the focal point is basically shadow. Batman, instead of touching the light, Batman is in the shadow. It's harder because you have to make it subtle. See, that's to do windows. I'll show you. And this is really, really quick too. Let me see. It's just like delay a little bit. There you go. One more. Come on. There you go. See? So foreground dark, middle ground focal point, light, or the family of light. Even the shadow is going to be light. And going to the background darker again. Right? That's way easier. It's the same thing with this dragon over here. See? So whoever that asked me about Lasso, this is Lasso. It's way faster than my demo because I just lasso, right? A foreground lasso, dragon lasso, right? So the start is the same. The hard part is design, right? So what you guys don't want to do, you don't want to design one house at a time. You want to design one depth at a time. So bunch of houses in the foreground, bunch of houses in the middle ground, bunch of houses in the background. You connect it to their layers, basically. So if I play the video, there. Oh, by the way, that's the picture that I use. I'm gonna done. The picture that I use is just basically, I went to San Francisco, take a picture, turn it upside down. That's it, right? The horizon happens to be, there you go, right? But now I get the perspective. There's nothing to do with the picture anymore. I just steal the perspective. And it's my own picture anyway, so I'm okay, right? And play. See, I did it just like I did the demo. Before I did the demo, I did the frame first, right? This time I did the focal point first, whichever you want. See, it's the same as my demo. That's it. Now, after that, lasso. Don't forget about the lighting. Just do a lasso. Make sure the shape is actually good. See, I put a little dragon over there. All right. That's how to do the light later on. I'll show you. Don't worry. Fast forward this, put a dragon, so on and so forth. Windows. Now, do I put white window in the foreground? No, if I put white window, it's coming too much, right? It's competing with a focal point, right? See? See how simple it is, right? The step is really simple. If you make it that simple, you're good. And whatever you guys do, don't zoom in. If you zoom in, you begin to know, I want to do this, I want to do that. No. Overall. And once overall is good, if you want to spend more time with texturing, if with photo bashing, you can, but you gotta get the overall first. See, I can stop like 5 minutes ago or stop right now. It doesn't matter. So it's the same. But just see, it's the same. Same with this. Now, this one, the focal point instead of the cauldron, well, the whole thing is the focal point, but her, the witch is the focal point, right? I don't want to put that witch dark, like black. If I put that witch black, she's coming forward. She's going to be next to the cat. The cat is black, right? So it's really hard to make the focal point darker than the background. It just really, you just have to make it really subtle. The focal point lighter than the background is way easier. Yeah, it's harder. especially if there's local tone of the locomotive, it's harder. See, that's why whatever that foreground, I just make it silhouette black. I don't even, if I want to finish it, I want to put the rim light and stuff like that. Yeah, I can, but basically it's there, right? Yeah. See, but it's the same concept, guys. This let me play this. Look at that. But this time the focal point is darker. It's not light, it's darker, which is harder. All right. So either or, you guys want to do the focal point light or the focal point darker, which is in the shadow, which is up to you. Although that train touching the light, the local tone of the train is actually dark, so you kind of have to make it to the dark. See? The good thing about drawing assist, there you go. It's so fast to do this stuff. Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, please ask, okay? Because right now I'm just gonna show you stuff and I'll go back to the windows again.
Cool. Any questions out there?
There you go. This one is same thing with this. See? That's it. Same thing with this. All right. So we're gonna do the window. Even that window, don't zoom in, right? Just impression of the window, and that's it, right? If you want to finish it, you go ahead. But right now, you got the overall. People understand what it is. You're good. You're really good. Yeah, look at that. Got the focal point, which is the blimp. The foreground is just the gargoyle. That's it. How Lasso the foreground? See? There you go. That's how to do the street, the lights, so on and so forth.
2 questions, Joko. Easy one is, what classes do you teach? The other one was about coloring. And it was basically, maybe it'd be easier for you to just explain, like, how is coloring overlaid or laid into these types of noirs?
Well, that's a good question. Color is different. Color is another thing. Color is actually harder because there is, you can actually say, get the value first and then you put the color on. So that's one way to do it. And another way to do it is actually changing color. You make things rounder. You make things turn because you change the color. There's that, and there's actually the temperature to warm light, cool shadow. There's so a lot of things about color. Now connecting to noir, you might want to do like monochromatic first, and you introduce a secondary color, and that's about it. So again, okay, color is way more approach that you can actually do. So say for example, for this one, I want to do color, for example. Okay, so I'm gonna just what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just copy all. Yeah, I'm gonna copy all. There you go. I'm gonna paste it. There, I got the whole thing. I'm gonna put it underneath the border. So I take it, I put underneath the border, and clipping mask is off. Okay, so one way to do it is just put another layers on the top of all of this, which is color layer, for example. So instead of normal, you just put it in color. That's the easiest way. So just do monochromatic first. So even color, there's actually many classes that you have to, well, there's color fundamental, that's one class. So you're gonna learn about value, and then you have to learn about monochromatic first. And then a complementary, split complementary, and those type of deal that I mentioned before, right? But I'm gonna just show you one first, which is monochromatic. I'll take this, just one color, and then take this, change it to color. See? There. So I just create another layer on top of everything, and that's, instead of normal property, it's gonna be color property. And then for me, this is how I work. If I want to put color, I just go to Pinterest and find the color that I want. So that I like, right? So how about this? I'm gonna go to city again. Like that. I think I did this the last demo. If you guys can actually find my last demo for Academy, I adopt the same color because I like it so much. There, I love this. It's really, really cool. So warm from the bottom and then cool from the top, for example. I want to do it like this, for example, right? So what do? I'm just going to take a picture of this. Take a picture. All right. And then I open it. So color is way more. See, more education that you need to do. So this is the fastest way to do color. Insert a photo. There you go. Oops. But this is gonna be, instead of color, I'm gonna do normal first. There you go. Right. And then get rid of the side. Get rid of this. There you go. Get rid of this. Look at that. All right, so I got this one. Now, all I have to do, okay, so that's my reference on the top. I make another layers on top of that and change this property to color. Like that. And just use soft brush, airbrush. Like that. And then I just steal this. Airdrop, I drop it. I drop this. There you go. Turn this off. Really big brush, lower opacity. Now again, okay, this is color property for your layers, right? And then just look at that. Ooh, isn't that cool? Monochromatic is one of the easiest one because you already have the value, all right? And then, okay, nighttime, I want to do like a little bit warm light from below. Can I do that? Yeah, I can just use another layer or just keep the same layers, basically. I turn this on, all right? And now fiery hot from the bottom, right? So I'm just gonna keep this one over here. Turn this off over here. And then the light coming from below is fiery hot. So I'm just gonna do, look at that. Isn't that cool? That's one way to do it. There's so many ways to do it until you like it, right? So there is that, and there is split. This is almost like complementary, orange and blue, right? There are so many ways to do color, but basically, just do one color is enough. Instead of what the warm over there, I'm just gonna go back. I'm just gonna do this. Even one color is way better than non-color, which is this one. See? Look at that. So we train to do black and white first, so at least the value is correct, so you can actually do monochromatic. Now, for different types of color, like complementary, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes the value can be doesn't work in black and white, but it still works in color. That's why you have to study more, so on and so forth. What else? That's a really good question. Color is really something else. Look at this. This is actually the same picture. Okay, so if I take this, I'm gonna open this one. If I turn the original picture, there you go. That's my backyard upside down, right? So the horizon is actually right there. That's my backyard here upside down. See, now the other one, whatever the gargoyle, is the same picture. I think it's the same picture. Let me see. Yeah, same picture. So the other one is right side up. This is upside down, basically. See? So this is looking down. And the other one is looking up. See? See? So I take my looking down and just turn it upside down. So it's actually looking up. Does that make sense? See? So let me see. There you go. See? So see, all you need to do, you want to frame the focal point. So begin to play around with, now, remember that I said you don't want to make the focal point contrast. Sometimes you can actually get away with it if the focal point is that close. So if you guys take analysis of form class, for example, like a still life class. So in still life class, sometimes you ignore atmospheric perspective. Why? Because you're really close to it. So because he's really close, I can afford to make him contrast. But I cannot afford to make the background further than him contrast because whatever that background is coming forward. So that's why the difference between analysis of form and perspective class. In perspective class, value depth is important. In analysis of form, whatever in front of you is important. You have to get that right? So yeah, there you go. And sometimes I don't make a foreground. Right? It's all middle ground, background. There's no foreground. There you go. See, can I make him shadow? Yeah, I can make him shadow by putting the light in front of him. But it's just hard to adjust. I'd rather make him light. Right? It's just easier. See, once you know how to do this, you begin to play around. Okay, the foreground is basically silhouette, right? And then the middle ground, there's the focal point is actually whatever that cannon and that the guy in the light and the parrot. Basically, the whole thing is a focal point, basically. And you can actually play around by this time. The cannon is close enough, but then the local value of the cannon is dark. So it's really tricky. So that's why that foreground, the guy that on the left guy leading the cannon in the front, has to be a simple group of value. I cannot make that too complicated, right? It still has to be in the shadow. Yes, there is a reflected light a little bit. There is highlight that is white, but it's just so simple. The light's not going to be too big. And I can make the cannon that dark because it's close. See, the focal point darker is harder. I have to make, this is really hard to do because I rather make the focal point light rather than shadow. Shadow focal point is hard because you have to make it really subtle. Let's see. There you go. See, it's really easy. It's incredibly easy. Once you get it, guys, yeah. You want to see the picture? The picture is, look at that. I'm building something in the backyard. I took a picture to send it to my in-law, but then when I'm doing this works, like, hey, I got this picture. I'm gonna change it to something, right? So what can I do? There you go. Just borrow the perspective, basically, and that's about it. So there, see? Most of the time start with the focal point. For your demo, I start with the foreground. I just framing the focal point. So I already have the focal point in my head, the Godzilla position of Godzilla, right? And then the rest of them is like, yeah. See? Look at that. See, don't make the focal point contrast. Focal point is close in value if it's in the middle ground. If your focal point in the foreground, you can actually make it contrast if you want to. If it's this far, don't make it contrast. Look at that. Any other question before?
I think someone asked you, what classes do you teach? And
oh, sorry. I'm teaching a foundation perspective, which is way harder than this. This is actually easier. This is more advanced perspective. I'm teaching foundation perspective to get to know perspective, basically the nitty-gritty perspective, a lot of calculation. That's a little bit hard, but a lot of line drawing, which is kind of cool, right? But then close to the end of that class, you can use value like this. It's actually more finished than this. And then I teach advanced perspective, which is this one. Basically, advanced perspective, by the time you're in the middle of the semester, you can just take pictures of something, of your room, of your environment, and just change it to your assignment, basically. I'll show you my student work after this. Look at that. See? So what picture is this? Let me see.
So what's your recommendation for when you have no idea where to make the focal point subject matter?
Could you repeat that? What?
Yeah, do you have any recommendations, like what this person's saying is, do you have any recommendations on what to do when you don't know where to make the focal point?
So where to place the focal point, or what's the focal point?
You know what? I think it might be a little bit of a both.
Got it. So if you don't know where to put the focal point, just basically top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So this King Kong is actually perfect in the top left. Just don't put it in the corner top left. It's just still that a third top left, right? So that's the placement of the focal point. Cancel. Let me see. That's a good question too. So let me see. I'll show you. So there you go. Basically, the bigger the focal point, you have to scoot it to the middle, right? This is basically top right and bottom right become the focal point. The whole refrigerator, like huge, including her. So the focal point can be that big. So the placement of the focal point is just a third. That's the easiest. The boat, see, bottom right. That a big old giant balloon, basically like a head balloon. What is it? It's in the bottom left. Top right, right? So it can be vertical, it can be following the perspective diagonal, it can be big, it can be small, it doesn't all matter. But yeah, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. Not in center, but not right in the corner, basically. Now, for what to draw, that's a luxury. So most of the time, guys, you're going to get a job where they're gonna give you the subject matter. So if you approach it like the demo, you're actually lucky if you can actually draw whatever you want. So if you can draw whatever you want, any, mini, miny, mo, just ask your friend, what do you want me to draw? And literally just do that. Challenge yourself, because I have no idea this is going to be this tempo. I really don't, right? I just know the focal point is going to be right there. That can be anything, right? That church can be anything over there, right? That sign can be, I don't know, it can be anything, right? So see, I love F1, and how come I never paint F1? There you go, I paint F1, right? So that's a luxury thing. So most of the time, you're not gonna have that luxury. So because of that, just challenge yourself, right? Anything that comes here is just anything. I want to draw a market. I want to draw I don't know, an Indian market. You know, how I never been to India. What do you do, right? Reference of India and try to put it in. See, try to put yourself in there, and that's it. Those kind of things. So first question, where do you put the focal point? In that third, you're good, right? But what to draw? Anything, guys. Anything you want, right? Shiva and Ganesh, right? Oh, by the way, Ganesh in the bottom right. See, I flip it. See the lecture that I gave you before. I always said the foreground is dark all the time. And then once you do this all the time, you can flip it over. You can actually figure out, like, you know what? I don't want Ganesh to be. Ganesh is that god, elephant god, in the bottom right. I don't want Ganesh to be in the shadow this time. I want him like really shiny marble, but he's not focal point. Focal point is still going to be Shiva, right? There you go. So and if I can find this perspective, because I usually use perspective, the picture twice, one of them looking up and the other one looking down, right? There you go. Maybe that, right? It doesn't matter. So subject matter does not matter. Ooh, medieval Japanese, for example, dinner time. I have no idea. Right? Bottom left is a fish, for example. We can't see the fish, right? Dragon, anything. It's a luxury to get to paint something that you really, really love. But even that, just challenge yourself. Just ask somebody, what do you want me to draw? I'm going to draw it. but make sure there's some kind of environment so you can actually practice your perspective, basically. Yeah. It's hard for me to do daytime because the focal point most of the time is going to be darker than the background. So I just challenge myself, okay, go to do daytime now. Do daytime because you love nighttime all the time. Nighttime is just great though. Just to the point, contrast really, really nice, right? But daytime is harder. You have to be subtle, right? So subject matter, it's up to you. See, this one, all of those lesson, right? The foreground is actually dark. The middle is actually light. But then I don't make the sky dark. I make the background, the building in the background darker than the sky. So that's the opposite that I said before, right? Well, yeah, like the rainy day is different. See, the more you paint, the more you see pictures, the more you see out there. Sometimes in the rainy day, the sky's not dark. The sky's actually lighter. How do you paint that, right? According to my lecture today, I gotta darken the sky. And the building is getting dimmer, getting darker in the back, but the sky is still darker than the buildings, right? Not for rainy day, right? So yeah, there's a lot of things. It's the same thing with this. According to my lecture before, the shadow of the dragon cannot be darker than the sky, right? I just break my lecture again, right? Is this one, see? So what do you follow? It doesn't matter. Just start to paint. The easiest way is this, always, for me, right? This is one way to do it. Dark in the front, light in the middle, and getting darker again to the back, right? That's the easiest way. But then you begin to paint, you begin to draw, you see some stuff like, hey, I can flip things over. There you go. I really wanted bad to make the outside dark, like night, but you know what? I always do that all the time. How about if I want to make the skies blue, like really dark blue, right? But it's still nighttime. Yeah, that's it. I just challenge myself, make the outside it's lighter, right? See, sometimes you can do that. Any other question? What time is it? Yep, we got.
I just said yeah. I think we're almost out of time here. I know we're over a bit, but we'll it's getting late on the East Coast, so.
Oh, got it. Let me do the really quick the windows, and then I'll close up. Okay.
So, okay. Oh, go ahead. I was gonna just ask this question from Troy. Troy's been.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Ask Troy's question while I'm doing the window.
Let's see if I can find it. Controlling the sightline of the observer 2, for example, the earlier F1, the initial camera view is raised about 25 degrees. Then the neon sign would have been the initial focal point. And in the video or animation or storyboarding, they can put down on the race cars. I think it stated that correctly. I guess it was just more of a comment than a question.
Got it. Yeah. And if you see F1, especially at night, right? Oh my God, everything is lit. They have to. There's not going to be dark whatsoever. If not, you're going to have an accident. So it's harder. It's like watching soccer at night, right? Everything's lit. People have foreshadows. See, it's harder. It's harder. The focal point not necessarily going to be the car. It can be the light. It can be, right? But how about if I want to see the car? See, you're kind of stuck. So there's so many ways you can actually to do things, right? This one is we just force it. So whoever that comment, correct, we're just forcing the light to be somewhere that we want. Although in the actual thing, it might not, right? The angle might not. Yeah, that's a good comment. All right, so I'm gonna do this layers over here, right? Windows, right? So I'm gonna put another window on top, another layer on the top, do clipping mask and drawing assist. And the window, again, you want to keep the overall the same. So the window, you don't want to make it too light, right? So I'm going to make the window like this value, just maybe a little bit lighter. And I'm going to do inking, like smaller window. And now look at this. Now, because the drawing assist is on, look at that. Oh, that looks terrible, right? Don't worry. Don't worry. All right, there's something over here. There's something over here, right? And then what I'm going to do, you can do smudge too with the drawing assist. So that window can be longer. And then you can erase with a, look at that. All of a sudden you got this Neo Tokyo. See, whatever you do, don't do one window at a time. That's going to kill you, all right? This one, you got it. Oh, I got it. Do I zoom in? No, don't zoom in, because if you zoom in, you want to make it like, I don't know, different. I'm going to curve this one just a little bit. Look at that, guys. See? So again, do the other building. Oh, I'm going to do like this one, skyscraper type of deal over here. So I'm going to make it like a little bit, painting a little bit different. Look at that. There you go. And then, you know what, for this one over here, I'm going to go to the middle vanishing point. And do this, and then erase it. Really tiny eraser, inking eraser. And then goes to that vanishing point. Look at that. You can even do this. Going to the vanishing point. So cool. All right. So, and then this one over here and bigger right over here. And this one over here goes. So lost and found is really important. I don't like that. Maybe just divide it. There you go. And then erase more. Now, if you make mistakes, you don't like something, you just do this. You just take that smudge, smudge it again, and erase it again until you like it. See, on and on and on. Yeah, and that's it. So I think that's it. I mean, we can continue, but basically that's it. Let me see.
Thank you so much too. This
no problem.
Super fun to watch, and it's great to see it continue to come along.
Yeah. If there's any like last question you can ask me, like several question, I don't know. If you have question.
It's 8:58, so I think what I'll do is wrap it up and thank everybody for being here. So students, the number one thing I would love for you to do real quick, if you want to take the time, just go ahead and give Joko a big shout out in the chat as a thank you for tonight. And
you're welcome, guys. Thank you.
Definitely want to pass along all of the thank yous, and you know, I know you're a busy man, so thank you so much for taking us to do some cool work for us and show us how to look at things differently. I do want to reassure students, like, if some of this stuff goes by you, like you're not sure what 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, different tools, like, don't worry about it. Like, we teach these courses, they last over the course of a semester, and there's multiple courses that build on each other. So if you feel like you missed some of the stuff or you just didn't really understand it, it's totally okay. It was just to have a good time. It wasn't for you to say, I need to learn all of this in a night. Believe me, that's not going to happen for anybody. It takes a lot of time. I also just want to reassure people too. I hear a lot of people in the chat specifically talking about software this, pen tool that, so on and so forth. All I would tell you is this. It's really years and years of being dedicated and practicing and making this something that you can become a professional in. The software and the tools are always going to get better and better and better all the time. But I think if you can take away something, is that what I notice is when Joko looks at a picture of a floor, he sees something in there that a lot of people don't see yet. And that's just years of practice, years of being dedicated to it, years of understanding perspective. So Don't want to overwhelm anybody, don't want to underwhelm anybody. It's just take it for what it is that it's a dedication to a profession. It's being passionate about this and being in love with it. And that's really how you get to those levels as a animator, as a designer, as whatever you want to call yourself in the future. It's a lot of work. So I know when you make it look easy, Joko, it's scary sometimes. Yeah. So hey, so for those of you out there, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, but I do want to just drop my email one last time. I mean this like the most sincere way. If any of you are interested in looking at the school, if you need any help, if you need to discuss how to be a student, look at my portfolio, give me some advice. I'm in high school, what do I do? I'm out of high school, I'm looking for a new career, whatever. We have a wonderful team. We sit down with our students one-on-one. School is going to be starting in like 2.5 weeks here. So if you haven't made your choice on going to a college yet, I promise you there's still more than enough time. We can help you out to see if the academy is going to work for you. But I'm just urging you to send me an email. The number one thing we could do is sit down and talk and try to help you figure it out. If you end up becoming a student, great. If you get help and we figure out that maybe something else is better for you, it's still okay. Like we're all about just trying to help our students and try to make sure that we give them the best advice possible. So anyway, so I hope you all had a wonderful time. We definitely will be back soon. We're going to be doing obviously events all year long. So this is going to be our final one for the month of August, but we'll definitely be set up for success and have more events coming up here in September. There are a list of different events that will be taking place though. So I would encourage you. I know some of you students out there said that you are starting school here this fall already. So if you have not already, on Wednesday and on Friday, those are going to be our student portal walkthrough events. They're teaching you how to be a successful online student. I would tell you pick one of those two and be there for that one. I'll be there on that event with Reed Rocker, our Senior Director of Admissions. If you have not done that already, I would tell you do it. It'll make you feel so much better about how to be an online student, make you feel ready for school here this fall. So once again, Joko, thank you so much. Thank you so much to the online education team, to Judy, John Beeson, all the people behind the scenes that you guys will never see. Just want to make sure everybody gets a lot of credit and love for helping out with these events. So thank you all students that are out there. Be safe. And I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, but I'll hang back to drop some links. If there's anything you need last minute, I'll stay in the chat for a few more minutes just to drop anything to you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, you guys. If anybody needs anything last minute, please just let me know here. If you need a link, anything at all.
Okay, thanks, Hector.
Bye, Joe.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joko. Hector, you want me to keep it open for a minute?
Yeah, just a quick minute, but I'm going to drop some links. Avery, you want the link to pre-college? I'm going to send it your way right now.
Thanks, Hector. Have a good night.
Hey, of course. Thank you all. Here's that link for you, Avery. Thanks, Troy. Appreciate it, bud. I think you've been working with Robert Vaclav, if I'm not mistaken. He's a great guy too, so I'll make sure that we all can connect and we'll get you taken care of. Of course, Avery, take that link there. Go ahead and save it. All right, cool. It looks like most of you are pretty much all good to go now. So listen, thank you all so much. I put my email in there a million times, so please feel free. Don't be shy. If you need anything, send it over, and you will get a copy of this recording sent over to you all, so you can check this out later. Excited to have a bunch of you starting school here this fall, okay? So everybody be safe. Enjoy your night. Bye-bye.